Now, in my previous video, I told you guys that the Galaxy S23 had the most pressure on it to be good. And based on my first week of using it, I will say that it's the best phone in its price range, and it completely smashes last year's S22. Now, the Galaxy S23 is a phone that has improved a lot since last year. It doesn't overheat, the battery life isn't trash, and it gave me an all-around great experience. And when I look at a phone like the Galaxy S23, I'm looking at its competition as well, the iPhone 14. And if I'm being honest, the S23 pound for pound is beating the 14 all across the board. The S23 has a 120Hz refresh rate that is much smoother. It has a better build quality with its stainless steel size and matte components. And last but not least, it has a better value for the price that you're paying. And even though the S23 isn't perfect and it gave me some nitpicks here and there, I still really enjoyed it, and I want to share my experience with you guys. This video is in partnership with Mint Mobile. Now, for the past couple of years, prices have gone up tremendously. Gas, rent, food, and everything else that is very essential to our everyday life. And since they are essential, many of us have no choice. You need a home, you need food, but what you don't need is an overpriced phone plan. And that's where Mint Mobile comes in. Now, you might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds, who, fun fact, is also the owner, but I want to tell you guys just how awesome their service is. Now, Mint Mobile offers a premium phone plan for as low as 15 bucks a month, and you don't have to sacrifice speed, coverage, or data. And most importantly, they're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They basically keep costs low because they sell directly to you online. They cut out all the retail stores and salespeople so that there's no unnecessary problems. So why would you pay more than you have to have access to the same network? And as someone who has just left Verizon Wireless, the switch to Mint Mobile was no problem since it gave me the exact same internet speeds while costing me much less, so there was no loss whatsoever. And I really felt like I was getting a better bang for my buck. And not only do I want to give you guys facts regarding Mint Mobile, but I want to actually show you how fast it is. And right here, you can see that I'm able to load up and watch a 4K YouTube video with no problem. Online gaming gave me 0 lags with no connectivity issues. And simple internet searches are extremely fast and are extremely similar to other top tier providers. Switching to Mint was also very easy. Thanks to their digital eSIM cards, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around waiting in line at big wireless stores. You can keep your current device and phone number and easily switch services. Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint will also show you how much data you can use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. And believe it or not, I was spending $84 for my Verizon Wireless plan, which is insanely high since my phone is paid off and I'm not financing anything, so Mint was a no-brainer. And you can use my link in the description to get a premium wireless plan starting at 15 bucks a month at mintmobile.com/Nasim. So stop paying for more than you need to on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. Now, the Galaxy S23 has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display that was very impressive from the start. Even though it had a 1080p resolution, I think that it still looks really good in person. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it looked very nice. Everything looked good. The responsiveness was very precise, and I had no complaints about the overall feel. And something that I realized about the display was that it doesn't scratch up easily. I decided to rock mine without a screen protector, and so far, the resistance is holding up very well. Now, the S23 has a 120Hz refresh rate. Scrolling through the OS and many different apps felt as smooth as ever, and since the display has great responsiveness, it made everything feel even more precise, smooth, and sharp. The display can also drop down to 60 and 48 Hz whenever it needs to preserve battery life, so if you're someone who wants extra battery life and doesn't really care about 120 or maxing out your screen resolution, the S23 is definitely for you. Now, looking at the bezels, they were pretty small. Right here, you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are much cleaner overall. The hole punch camera is also very small, so it won't bother you whenever you're using your phone, and this helped a lot whenever I was doing things like gaming and watching a movie. Now, when it comes to brightness, the S23 is at 1750 nits, which is really good for whenever you're using your phone outside. No matter how much the sun was shining, I could see the screen perfectly, and you can also put the brightness to maximum if you need it to be brighter. Now, something that I didn't like about the S23's display was the facial recognition. There were many times where I was trying to unlock my phone and it wasn't working, and if it was working, it would be very slow and I would have to try multiple times. The fingerprint scanner worked much better. This was very fast, and I chose to turn off the facial recognition and just use my fingerprint instead. The responsiveness still holds up very well and was easily one of my favorite parts about the screen. Its quick and snappiness made the phone feel not only good, but fast. And just like with the other phones in the S series lineup, I want to give you guys a side-by-side comparison with the S23 Ultra and regular S23, and you can see how fast animations are when compared to each other. So I was really impressed that the S23 held its own. Now, the resolution and viewing experience of the S23's display is an amazing benefit when it comes to consuming media and playing video games. Gaming was something that I did a ton of when I was using my S23, so it was really good to see that the S23 was able to handle it with ease. I was also able to see everything very clearly when watching videos, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like to watch something and play a game.
And ETN on first down has a crease. There he goes. ETN. See you later. Touchdown.
The record for the franchise, 73 rushing touchdowns at the end of the last drive. And here he goes again. Derrick Henry on the run. He got stopped for a moment, but he keeps going. Henry inside the 30.
Now, the S23 has a 3900 mAh battery that not only has outdone the S22, but it was also able to last me all day on a consistent basis. And I'm usually the type of person who is on my phone on social media, watching movies, playing video games, and anything else that the average person does on their phone. And I'm usually getting over 6 hours of on-screen time a day, and I only charge my phone when I go to sleep. And just like with every other phone, I don't cut any corners. I always have 5G on, no auto brightness, the resolution is pretty much maxed out, and I never used any power saving mode, so I was extremely impressed. And when I was gaming, it definitely would hurt my battery. I had a lot of Asphalt 9 gaming sessions, and I would be gaming for about 2 hours, and my battery would take a 30% hit, which is honestly much better than a lot of other phones, but again, it's still a big hit. And if I could give you guys a quick estimate, I would say that my battery is usually on 25% by the end of the day when I wasn't gaming, and when I was gaming, I would usually have the cable connected because I really didn't want it to die. Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to the battery was the charging. I used a 25 watt fast charger, and my phone was able to charge from 0 to 100% in over an hour. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you forgot to charge your phone, you could put it on a charger while you're getting ready for work, and it will be at least 60 to 70% by the time you're done, depending on how long it takes you to get ready. Now, looking at software, the S23 supports Android 13, and it's also supported by One UI 5.1. And not only was it incredibly smooth, but there are many different features that make it the ultimate phone as far as customization. I really liked how I could stay connected to my Google apps. I really liked that I could edit my widgets and make them dark or transparent to fit certain themes. I could use live wallpapers. The always on display was much more customizable than most flagships. Samsung DeX was great for whenever I wanted to watch sports games on my TV. I could edit how I want my display to react to notifications. And there were so many different customizations that you can do to make this phone truly yours. And in terms of software, I felt the sleekness all the way through. Samsung phones are typically very sharp when it comes to optimizing software. So honestly, I'm not surprised when I say that the S23 handled Android 13 and One UI 5.1 very nicely. Now, I also decided to test out some games on the S23. I played Call of Duty, which is a game that can really test out the chip. And as you can see right here, it held up very well, and I didn't get any lags while playing. Now, something else that I wanted to touch on was the haptics. They were pretty great whenever I was typing, backing out of an app, receiving phone calls and text messages. And I liked how Samsung made you feel everything that you do on this phone. After every movement, you feel a slight vibration, and it made it feel even more premium. Now, the final thing that I wanted to note is that the S23 will be getting 4 years worth of software upgrades. So when it comes to longevity, it's definitely got you covered. Now, just like the S22, the S23 has some really good speakers that were very loud whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't really have to turn it all the way up because they were pretty loud on the mid tiers of volume. And I tested out how they sounded when playing music, and if I'm being honest, they're loud, but they aren't as loud as the S23 Ultra or the S23 Plus, but again, they still did the job. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound. Now, the Galaxy S23 has a 50 megapixel main camera along with a 10 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel selfie camera, and 12 megapixel ultra wide. And based on my usage over the past week, I would say that the pictures look amazing. Now, starting with zoom modes, the S23 has a couple of different zoom modes, and of course the quality gets dumbed down once you use ultra wide and zoom in, but I found all of the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed is okay if I'm being honest. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best. And I decided to test it out by shooting a moving car, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars, but it still couldn't compare to the iPhone or Pixel. Now next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment that I will be starting with is daytime. Now looking at the outside photos, the selfies were good but couldn't capture my skin tone well. Also, the sharpness on my face could be a bit too much when compared to the Google Pixel or the iPhone, where the sharpening isn't overtaking the photo. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, and different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the S23 held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed since the sharpness did a lot better with the main camera. Now when I took night photos, I would say that pretty much everything looked good. It would brighten up everything in the photo so that you could see everything very clearly, and the overall sharpness wasn't overbearing. Now taking a look at inside photos, the S23 was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly less aggressive than the outside photos in terms of sharpness. Whenever I took selfies at night, it didn't really look that good because again, it wanted me to look lighter than I actually am, and the brightness didn't correlate at all. And now when it comes to shooting video, the S23 is a really good phone that was able to capture quality shots. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, starting at 720p all the way up until 8K. And as far as frame rates go, you have 24, 30, and 60. And I usually shoot for 30 frames because it makes the videos look more realistic in terms of movement. And I also go for 4K because it looks really good. The video stabilization was really good. I shoot my videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld and the movements will be very smooth, which was very impressive. And for fun, I decided to try out the stabilization to the max, and if I'm being honest, it was pretty good. There are better options out there, but you'll be pretty satisfied. So all in all, I would definitely say that the S23 has a good video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you want a solid camera, it's definitely got you covered. So here's the final question. Is the Galaxy S23 worth buying? Well, I would say that it's 100% worth it. And if you had the S22, S21 FE, or S21, it's a really great upgrade to get. And I'm really impressed with the S23 overall. It's my favorite upgrade in the S23 lineup. And if you're someone who doesn't care about having a huge phone, the S23 is perfect for you. But there it is, you guys, my review on the Galaxy S23. And if you guys have any other questions for me, you can let me know down below. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.